All right, this is a prophecy updates as of May the 25th, 2026, on this Monday afternoon. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names of ancient Paleo Hebrew, the lost of the tongue. And I say Barak to the elders and apostles who are my Abba, and I say Shalom. And as I mentioned again, this is a outside lesson, May the 25th, 2026, on this Monday afternoon. The prophecy news updates, as of today. So I was, what's this kind of shock for a second? So supposedly, the United States and Iran was supposed to have they agreed to like certain things of this upcoming peace deal that they're supposed to have in the next couple of days, if I'm not mistaken. But you had the president of Iran was saying a deal is not imminent between the United States and Iran, and then they were saying that the nuclear talks is not going to be part of this deal that they're supposed to have in play. So they in the finalization stages or something like that. But because Iran and the United States going back and forth at each other about this nuclear program. So now you had this news article that just came out from the Miami Herald from the last 10 minutes ago. It says U.S. military strikes Iran boats. It says missiles on sites. CENTCOM reports. Now they saying this is supposed to be a self-defense or something like that. So we're going to see how that plays out. I don't know if that's going to jeopardize the deal that they had in play. It says, I don't know if they're going to have this deal in play. I mean, I don't know if it's going to actually jeopardize the deal that they're trying to have in place. So we're going to see how that plays out. It says, this is another news article from the Miami Herald. It says Israel will intensify Lebanon strikes, mainly the U.S.-Iran talks. Why? Because tensions been heating up over there as well too, over there in that region, over there at the borders of Lebanon and Israel. So those tensions are going to heat back up, despite the fact they had agreed to a 45-day ceasefire. Was that like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago? So these are signs of wars and rumors of wars. So I'm gonna bring out that Matthew's 24th chapter. I don't know if Iran is going to respond back, because it was saying some reports that Iran was supposedly trying to attack U.S. Army troops or something like that over there in Strait of Hormuz. So we're going to see how that plays out. They supposedly said this is a self-defense strike or something like that. It says Matthew 24 and verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Matter of fact, I'm going to go up to verse 6. Yeah, this is the gospel of Matthew 24 verse 6. It says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, we hear wars and rumors of wars. Russia versus Ukraine. It was like a heavy missile barrage of nuclear missile strikes that Russia did of Ukraine. Just like a couple of days ago, the Ukrainians had targeted a school that unalived some females at a school over there. Those are civilians. So that lets Russia was retaliated back in nuclear strikes. So that shows that the tension between Russia and Ukraine is heating up on a daily basis. That's what you call wars and rumors of wars. Now you got the United States did a missile strike on both wars probably hitting on a daily basis. It said that you not trouble for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? So it's going to come to pass, but not going to end yet. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. It says, there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so we're going to see these famines and pestilence plagues. We see in this chloria, the measles outbreak, this OLA outbreak, this Hanta V-word outbreak. So these are different type of famines and pestilence and plagues that we see in our world today. And the nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and these wars and rumors of wars right along with this war too. And then you had a major 6.9 earthquake over there in northern Chile. So these are the signs that Yahushua spoke about before he makes a return. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 24 verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So all these are the beginning of sorrows that Yahushua spoke about. Make sure it says, what are you reading? I'm reading the Bible. That's what I'm doing. Now I'm here doing a report of prophecy updates, what's going on in the news today that leads up to biblical prophecies. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna make sure my sound is good, just to make sure. So yeah, before so while I'm looking up my tests, while I'm looking up my website, so make sure the sound is good. So yeah, so we're gonna see how this plays out with this supposedly self-defense missile strike that that the United States did on Iran. So we're gonna see how that plays out. See, like it says, you kind of look like my dad. Nah, yeah, you know. But it's Matthew's. Matter of fact, it's the book of Luke 21 verse 25. Then I'm getting some more news articles. This is Luke 21. It says in verse 25, it says, that there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, like sea rage on. So as we get closer and closer to the time of the Gentiles being prepared, which is the armies of other nations, and we see in the uproars of the people world, that we see nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, modern ruler against modern ruler. We see the signs of the sun, the moon, and stars. And then upon the earth expressive nations will perplex sea rage growing. So that's will continue to increase. So now if we get back to some more news articles, so that lets you know that we're living in the signs of times that Yahushua spoke about. Because these are signs that he's showing us before he makes a return. So I'm going to see if I can be able to get to RT.com. Wait for the load up for a second. Yeah, it seemed like this this Wi-Fi. It seemed like this Wi-Fi at this bank right here. It seemed like they only let you go to certain websites. It's kind of scripted. That's kind of bugged out. It seemed like I was able to get to the Associated Press News. It says the U.S. military says they carry out a self-defense strikes on Iran, including missile launcher sites. Right, so they target nuclear sites over there in Iran and that region, and over there in the Gulf of the Strait of Hormuz. So we're going to see how that plays out. If Iran is going to respond back in their self-defense as well too. So we're going to see how that plays out. So these are signs of wars and rumors of wars heating up between these nations. And then you had the chemical spill over there in, you had that chemical spill, like was that a couple of days ago over there in California. I believe they declared a state of emergency or something like that in that region. So that lets you know we're seeing all these signs that the Heavenly Father showing us. They say he's going to show us these plain beginning and powerful works and the effects of signs, which is going to be seeing more and more these times. It says Israel military says it's striking Hezbollah sites as Netanyahu vows to increase the blows. Right. So despite the fact, they've been having talks between Lebanon and Israel. So that lets you know that this current administration over there in Israel, they're going to continue to intensify their strikes against Hezbollah. So the pro-Iranian groups and the Hezbollah versus the Israel defense force, those tensions are only going to escalate. This is Luke 21, and this is the Gospel of Luke 21 and verse 10. Right, it says more things to come. The Gospel of Luke 21 and verse 10. It says, then say he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right, so even if they do it in self-defense on both sides of the nations that rise against one another, despite the fact they're trying to push for a peace deal, even though you had the president of Iran was saying that the deal is not imminent, and then they've been having talks about the nuclear, what you call that, the nuclear talks is not part of this deal. They're trying to end the war potentially, But you had the president of Iran saying that the deal is not imminent, even though it been progress talks of it. They agreed to certain to stick about giving up their nuclear capability, but they don't want 100% fully give up their nuclear capability. So we're going to see how that plays out. Now you got this news story that just came out that the United States had used self-defense airstrikes in military sites over there in Iran. So we're going to see if Iran is going to respond back to that. So we're going to see how that plays out. So this is the book of Mark, the 3rd chapter. Hey, shout out to that brother Yahweh, the prophets of the scene, Joseph 120. This is Mark chapter 3, verse 24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided, separate king cannot stand. Right, so if a kingdom be divided, separate king cannot stand. This is Mark chapter 3, verse 25. It says, and if a house be divided, separate house cannot stand. Right, so if a house be divided, separate house cannot stand. And so the nation of Edom and all these kingdoms of nations are being divided now, so on and over. So I'm gonna see. I can go back to the news now, so I can be able to highlight the news articles and check up some, for some more prophecy updates out of that hour. But we definitely for sure are gonna see. So I'm gonna check out the more news articles from the news now. It says this is from 6 hours ago. It says this is from the Washington Times. It says world leaders is keeping a wary eye on Belarus for any signs that it may offer Russia help in Ukraine. Why? Because the tensions are intensifying between Russia and Ukraine, and that makes perfect sense because you think about it. Because ever since what was that, like a couple of days ago, you had Russia and Belarus. They recently did this large military exercise drills of the ongoing tension that they have against against Ukraine. And then there was a report just came out was saying that I'll say Russia, they potentially might get ready for a large missile defense strike against Ukraine. So hey, this long war between Russia and Ukraine is on the heat up. So ever since February of 2022, tensions really been escalating between Russia and Ukraine. So that's going to heat up. So it says again, world leaders keeping an eye on the Belarus with any signs that it might offer Russia help in Ukraine. It says the EBOL outbreak in Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo will get worse. Yeah, it says it will get worse before it gets better. This is from the WHO chief warnings. So these are different pestilence and plagues that Heavenly Father spoke about that was going to show forth in this world tale. In the world tale, just like it says now, what's that, 2 Esdras 15 verse 5? Behold, said the Heavenly Father, that I will bring plagues upon the world, and sword, famine, death, destruction. So that's something that will continue to increase. Just like that Jeremiah 28 verse 8. I'm going to check out some more news articles. It says, something else. Check out some more websites. It says PBS Online. It says Israel military says it is striking Hezbollah sites as Netanyahu vows to increase its blows. Right, despite the fact they had recent talks. It says explosions heard in Iran. Merrick says the Bondiar Allied situation is under control. Right, so it's under control. Oh yeah, you had that coal mine explosion over there in China as well too. Yeah, that's that Isaiah 45 verse 7. Right, so I'm leaving it there. Check out some more news articles once again. But in the meantime, just go ahead and bring out some scriptures. Seems like that was the latest so far. But yeah, we're gonna see what Iran. We're gonna see if Iran is gonna respond back. Now, this is supposedly the United States. You said they did this in self-defense. They did some missile launch strikes and target some boats from Iran, especially over there in the Strait of Hormuz. So we're going to see how that plays out. We're going to see where Iran is going to respond be. And this is of the prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, right, the arms of the other nations. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near to become upright. So despite the fact that they've been having peace talks and negotiation talks, and so the tensions on going to escalate over there in the east, which is West Asia. It's Joel chapter 3, verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares and the swords and the pointing hooks and the spears, and let the weak sound strong. Right, because you got what's that, Hezbollah, the pro-Iranian groups. They still going to intensify their strikes against the Israel Defense Force, just like Benjamin Netanyahu said he's going to intensify their strikes against the Hezbollah over there in that region between the borders of Israel and Lebanon. And then you're still going to have the pro-Iranian groups still, which is Houthi rebels, rising up against the Israel Defense Force. So that you know, hey, let the weak sound strong. So that's going to continue to increase. So I'm going to get to that Ezekiel, and this is Ezekiel 38 verse 1, right? It says prophecies about God in the future invasion of Israel. So the tensions been heating up between NATO and Russia, Belarus, and Russia together versus the European Union and NATO. So that's been heating up as of late. And then we're seeing the Russia-Ukraine situation been heating up as of late as well too. Dry throat, slop. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and verse 2. It says, son of man, set thy face against Gog and Magog, and the chief prince and Meshach Tubal, and prophesy against them. Why? So we're prophesying against Gog and Magog, chief prince and Meshach Tubal, just like the prophet Ezekiel did, and what we're doing in these times. So there's no new thing under the sun. And this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 3. It says, thus saith Yahweh Shemashai, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, chief prince and Meshach Tubal. Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 4, it says, now turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horse and horsemen, all of them clothed for all sorts of armor, even a great company of buckler shoes, and all of them handling swords. Right, so the heavy fall is going to continue to put the hooks and backs of jaws. These are Russians, which represents the bear in Ezekiel 38 chapter. Now, Russia is going to do a heavy another military strike against the Ukrainians, and then it might be a pending attack from NATO that they're going to use against Belarus and Russia. That's why he said world leaders, they're keeping an eye on Belarus. If Belarus is assisting Russia with the Russia-Ukraine situation. And then, like, what's that day before yesterday, you had the United States that additionally gave extra millions and billions, if I'm not mistaken, to Ukraine. So that lets you know that the tensions between Russia and Ukraine is only going to intensify. It says Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 5, it says Persia, which is Elam, Ethiopia, the Cushites, and Libya of Put, with all of them with shield of him. And this is Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 6. It says Gomer, which is modern day Turkey. It says in the house of Togomor of the north quarters and all his bands and meet people with you. And this is Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 7. It says, be thou prepare for thyself and all thy companies that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Right, so Russia is going to be a guard to these nations, Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, and Turkey. And then while you still got the Russia-Ukraine situation still going on, because you do have, you do got military bases over there in Russia as well too, over there in Syria. So that lets you know, hey, that main target is going to get the Israel Defense Force over there in Western Asia, and all this is going to lead up to the Third World War. This is Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 1. It says, therefore thou son of man, prophesy against God, and say, thus saith Yahweh Shemashai, behold, I am against thee, O God, chief priest of Meshach Tubal. Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 2. It says, I will turn thee back and leave, but the sixth part of thee, and I will cause to come up from the north parts. I will bring thee upon the mountain of Israel. Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 3. It says, and I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and I will cause thy arrows to fall out of thy right hand. And this is the book of Isaiah chapter 17 and verse 1. Because you're going to have and it makes perfect sense if you think about these modern day times, since that Benjamin Netanyahu is going to he's going to ante up his military strikes against the Israel Defense Force. And then you're going to have Hezbollah, they're going to do the same thing. And, right, it says prophecies about Damascus. This is Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1. It says, the burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus take away from being a city, and it shall be Israel heat. Right, so Damascus of Syria is definitely being taken away from being a city, and it shall be Israel heat. This is a future prophecy that we see in the making. So those proxy groups over there in the Middle East and those pro-Iranian groups, they still going to be rising against Israel defense force. So that's going to lead to the Third World War. Isaiah 17, verse 9. It says, in that day shall the strong cities be as forsaken in the uttermost branch, which they left because of the children of Israel, and there should be desolate, right? So that land's desolate over there in Syria. But you're still going to have that cross-border conflicts between the borders of the Golan Heights over there throughout Israel, of the Israel Defense Force, and the borders of Lebanon as well too, and Iraq and Syria. So that's the future prophecy that we see in the making. And this is in the book of Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which they shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So the tension between the version out of Babylon and the Medes, the Russians, so Russia and the United States, that's going to heat back up as well too. Even though it be kind of, even though there haven't been no escalation ever since then, ever since like a couple of months ago, there was ever since the nuclear arms between Russia and the United States, it been expired I would say like 3.5 months ago. So expect to see a nuclear a nuclear arms race that's going to heat up between Russia and the United States once again, despite the fact that 47 had talks about Russia. But that's potential that's still going to mount. This is the book of Luke 21. Yeah, I spoke about Luke 21 and verse 10. Luke 21 and verse 10, it says, right things to come. Luke 21 verse 10, then say he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right, so more increasing nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So see if I could be able to check out some more news articles. Other than that, then I'm just going ahead and close it out. So these are definitely prophecies. That these are biblical signs that we're seeing in our world today. So it's only going to continue to increase. Slocky for that. So I'm gonna check out some more news articles. If not, I'm just go ahead and close it out. So yeah, that was the topic. That was the headline. That was the headline topic right there. That says the U.S. forces conduct a self-defense strike in southern Iran. The Fox News says for the Miami Herald. And so we're gonna see how that plays out. If Iran is gonna respond back in self-defense, and then we're gonna see Russia versus Ukraine that's gonna heat back up, intensifying. As we see of a possible imminent of a nuclear strike from NATO, going to be targeting Russia and Belarus. So that lets you know Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, is in full effect, verse 39, and that Isaiah 17 verse 1, and that Isaiah 17 verse 9, and that Jeremiah, the 49th chapter, and that Revelation 11 verse 14 is for too. We're getting closer to the time of Gentiles being fulfilled, so we're definitely in those times. Yeah, Revelation 11 verse 14, since I mentioned that, it says the second won't pass, but the third will come quick. Right, so the second won't pass, but the third will come quick. So with that, hopefully this prophecy updates, news updates, the prophecy updates as of May the 25th, 2026, as of Monday afternoon, May the 25th, 2026, this prophecy updates. So hopefully this was edifying. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Ba'Kadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Ba'Hashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, the Lost Gospel Holy Tongue. And I say Barak Abam to the elders and apostles, Ba'Akim, Ba'Akwaf. Until next time, I will say Kwame Asherah, and Abba Ball, and Shalom.